On this edition of NewsTeam Boulder for Thursday, November 30th, 2021, CUPD defense class for what to do in a possible shooter situation. With the holiday season just around the corner, what does this mean for the supply chain? And a new study on a different type of runner's high. All this and more coming up on NewsTeam Boulder. It's a nightmare scenario. A shooter enters your building. What will you do? Welcome to NewsTeam Boulder. I'm Jessica McCauley. Earlier this year, it was the King Soopers mass shooting at Table Mesa and Broadway. And even closer to campus, a person fired a gun over the Halloween weekend. Run, hide, fight. These words tell us what we should do in the event of an active harmer. Today, CU Police conducted a defense class teaching students what to do when the unthinkable happens. News Team's Anieli Villalobos is at the University Memorial Center, where the class takes place.
Today and tomorrow, CU Boulder Police Department is having an active harmer class to help students and staff to be prepared in case of any active shooting event on campus.
We do these classes, these active harmer classes, to make sure that people are prepared. We want our campus to be ready. We always hope that nothing happens, but that we want them to be equipped with information so that if something does happen, people are ready to respond.
Statistics show that between 2000 to 2017, there have been 280 active shootings in the United States. And since the pandemic started, the gun-related incidents have increased. If you are ever in this situation, they recommend 3 important things: either run, hide, or fight.
Words like run, hide, fight, those words speak to common terms that would tell anybody what you need to do if something happens. So it's pretty simplistic, it's basic, and when it comes to running, get away. When it comes to hiding, like I can equate that with a 5-year-old to hide and go seek, right? You're trying to make sure that nobody finds you. And then when it comes to fighting, and do what you can, right? This isn't the wrestling with your siblings, with your friends. This is you are fighting to stay alive. So do everything that you can to protect yourself, to keep anything bad from happening to you.
I think what CU Boulder is doing is a great thing for us to learn and to be more aware of the situations that we are living in at this moment.
The class will be held in room 235 at the UMC, Tuesday from 10 a.m. to 12, and on Wednesday from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m.
An update on the recent Boulder shooting that took place on Halloween weekend on 17th Street. On November 15th, Boulder police released photos of the shooter's identity. Since then, the shooter still has not been found, nor has there been an update on this situation. They're still asking Boulder residents to call Detective Kay Sedera if they have any more information. The Boulder County Coroner's Office on Monday identified the man killed following a rollover crash on US 36 early Saturday morning as Ernan Loya, 24 years old, of Westminster. Colorado State Patrol Trooper Josh Lewis said that the State Patrol was called to the scene of US 36 at Table Mesa Drive in Boulder around 5:36 a.m. The single vehicle crash involved a 2012 Jeep Wrangler. Loya was declared dead at the scene. Colorado State Patrol is looking at alcohol and marijuana as possible factors in the crash. The Boulder County Coroner's Office has finished its examination. The cause and manner of death are pending further investigation. This past Saturday at approximately 5:19 p.m., the Boulder County Sheriff's Office received a report from a scrambler stuck near the top of the 5th Flatiron and requested assistance in order to get off the rocks safely. According to the female hiking partner who was hiking with the 57-year-old male scrambler from Boulder, he was exploring rock formations in the area of the 5th Flatiron when he became stuck. Rescuers from the Rocky Mountain Rescue Group ascended the 5th Flatiron to effect the rescue, reaching the male subject at approximately 8:46 p.m. The overall rescue took approximately 6 hours. Coming up after the break, the supply chain that could impact your holiday shopping. Welcome back, Buffs. Next day shipping might not cut it this holiday season. With supply chain issues continuing to affect shipping and delivery, packages could be delayed anywhere from a few days to several months. With more on the supply shortage crisis, here's News Team's Catherine Zamora.
Problems within the international supply chain are causing the distribution and creation of packages to be delayed across the world. Worker and product shortages caused by COVID-19 created a gap in production. Prices skyrocketed as essential supplies decreased. Staffing shortages affected every part of production and distribution, causing consumers to experience major delays. But it's no quick fix. Everything from household items to holiday supplies will continue to be delayed. As countries continue to deal with the ongoing pandemic, these problems are likely to remain. Be sure to order things far in advance, shop for items made in the USA, and prepare for shortages, but don't go overboard.
Gap says supply chain issues are to blame for $300 million in lost sales in its third quarter. The retailer says COVID-19 led to factory closures and backlogs at ports. That combination led to delays in getting merchandise into stores. Up to 30% of Gap's production comes out of the factories in Vietnam, which were closed several weeks this summer. The company's CEO says the supply chain drag lasted longer than it had projected. Gap's earnings report hit stock shares hard in midweek trading, losing 21%. Gap says that it's bracing for losses of up to $350 million in sales through the holiday season due to continued supply chain delays. Gap says it's bracing for losses of up to $350 million in sales through the holiday season due to the continued supply chain delays. Gap Inc. operates The Gap, Old Navy, Banana Republic, and other Athleta brands. Flu season is in full swing here on campus. With finals just around the corner, you do not want to get sick. To look out after yourself and others around you, make sure to go get your flu shot to avoid the pre-holiday sickness. There are many options here on campus for students to go and get their shot. Make sure to take advantage of these campus resources buffs. The list of countries severing air links with countries in southern Africa continues to grow, but many health experts say travel restrictions and bans are next to useless, and by punishing transparency can ultimately do more harm than good. CNN's David McKenzie has more from Johannesburg.
This variant is a cause for concern, not a cause for panic.
According to the US president, perhaps. But across Europe, parts of Asia, the Middle East, North and South America, and even other parts of Africa, world leaders have been slamming the door shut on many African travelers as cases of the new Omicron coronavirus variant continue to spread.
The emergence of the highly mutated Omicron variant underlines just how perilous and precarious our situation is. South Africa and Botswana should be thanked for detecting, sequencing, and reporting this variant, not penalized. We shouldn't need another wake-up call. We should all be wide awake to the threat of this virus.
The World Health Organization has warned against hasty travel restrictions because it says they only offer marginal benefits. South Africa's president himself describing the measures as deeply disappointing. But scientists still need to determine the basics, whether Omicron is more infectious or causes more severe disease. Some scientists are confident that the vaccines will continue to provide protection.
We need to adapt our mindset and we need to start to understand that it's not about eliminating the virus, which is what much of the travel ban is centered around. This misconception that we still got the tools to be able to eliminate the virus. We need to accept that the virus is with us, but we do have the tools to protect against severe disease.
The variant was first identified in South Africa, where Omicron appears to be dominating infections. Cases have now been confirmed across several European nations, as well as Canada, Israel, Hong Kong, and Australia. And while both travel restrictions and national COVID-19 measures are being tightened across the globe, there remain many serious questions over the risks posed by this new variant, and at this stage, very few answers. David McKenzie, CNN, Johannesburg.
The month of December is filled with traveling. Make sure before you jump on any airplane or any other form of transportation, you get your booster and flu shot. It is important to keep yourself and those you love safe as the holiday season approaches. 70s and sunny in November? NewsTeam's Faye Callahan has our weekly weather report when we come back.
morning, Buffs. Here's your weather forecast. We have definitely had some fluctuating weather these past few days. Even in November, Boulder is still getting to a high of 61 and will get down to a low of 40 this evening. It will mostly be sunny today with just a few clouds in the sky. The air quality is at a really great level, so make sure to get outside and enjoy that crisp fall weather. Alrighty, looking at the state of Colorado, we will experience warmer temperatures in the 60s all the way in the Denver and Boulder area and throughout the east. Over here in the Rocky Mountains, the weather has been fluctuating a little bit in temperatures from a low of 28 to 57 in the Grand Junction area. Tomorrow, the east side of Colorado is having summer temperatures up to 71 degrees. As we get into the Rocky Mountains, temperatures up to a high of 56. So I know ski resorts have been working overtime trying to make snow for this season. On Thursday, as we get into temperatures, continue to rise throughout the state. Here on the Eastern Plains, temperatures will be in the low of 70s, but a high of 75, which is pretty crazy for December. As we come across the state, we will have a low of 34 in the mountains, but a shift throughout with a high of 59. As we look across the nation, we see mixed precipitation starting in the northeast near Pennsylvania, all the way through the border of Canada out to North Dakota. We see more mixed precipitation in the Washington, Montana area and light rainfalls throughout. Tomorrow, the weather will be partly cloudy and it just keeps getting warmer as we see a high of 70, but then back down to that fall weather into the evening with a low of 40. For the 4-day forecast, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, we see beautiful sunny skies with a high of 70 on Thursday. Moving into the weekend, temperatures get into the low 60s, so be sure to enjoy this warm weather while it lasts. We have seen such high temperatures for December in Colorado, and we all wonder, where's the snow? The unseasonably warm weather this season is the result of 3 factors working together: La Nina, climate change, and sheer luck. NewsTeam's Georgia Worrell tells us more about La Nina and how this phenomenon helps us predict our winter weather.
La Nina is a weather pattern that occurs every few years in the Pacific Ocean. La Nina is caused by water temperatures that are cooler than normal. In the winter of a La Nina year, westward winds along the equator are much stronger than usual. This makes the water in the Pacific Ocean near the equator a few degrees cooler than it usually is. Even this small change in the ocean's temperature can affect weather all over the world. Rain clouds normally form over warm ocean water. La Nina blows all of this warm water into the western Pacific. As a result, the cold water in the eastern Pacific causes less rain clouds to form there. So, places like the southwestern United States can be much drier than usual.
And that's all for Weather Buffs. I'm Faye Callahan. Back to you, Jess.
Coming up after the break, we'll tell you about the Colorado version of a runner's high. There's a new kind of runner's high in the air at CU, but instead of feeling that endorphin rush, this high is enhanced by THC, which stands for tetrahydrocannabinol. The study on physical activity and cannabis effects, or the SPACE study, is enlisting more than 50 paid adult volunteers who have experienced mixing cannabis and exercise to attempt to measure the psychological effects cannabis can have on a person during exercise. Their research question aims to specifically answer the question, what does commercially available cannabis have on exercise? How does cannabis influence pain, enjoyment, motivation, and exertion, all while exercising? The research study will take place in 3 sessions. The first is a baseline assessment assessing the participants' exercise behavior and cannabis use. Following a 15-minute running test to assess their heart rate, the participants are then assigned to a THC dominant flower strain or a CBD dominant flower strain. The next session, the participant will then get their assigned product, get surveyed before and after a 30-minute exercise test, and then the last session will be the same as before except no cannabis product will be consumed.
I don't know that I would say it necessarily relates to, the controversy around performance enhancement. And my opinion is that it's definitely not performance enhancing and it's psychologically enhancing, but I'm not going to run farther when I'm stoned,
After starting 7-0, Colorado's women's basketball hosts Dixie State for a non-conference matchup in the CU Event Center at 7 p.m. on Friday, December 3rd. The Buffs will be starting their holiday toy drive benefiting a precious child. Fans are encouraged to bring a new toy to donate. Collection bins will be placed at the entrances. After opening Pac-12 play with a win against Stanford, Colorado men's basketball returns to the CU Event Center for a non-conference matchup against number 13 ranked Tennessee. The game is set for 5 p.m. on Sunday, December 4th. The first 1,000 students in attendance will receive a custom deck of CU playing cards. That's it for this edition of NewsTeam Boulder. This show is produced by journalism students at the University of Colorado in the College of Media, Communication, and Information. You can find us on YouTube and on Twitter at NewsTeam Boulder. I'm Jessica McCauley. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.